As you all know by now, I speak publicly only when I have something very important to say. And this time, what I have to say will change everyone's life and the world we live in. As usual, I tell you what you need to know and not what you want to hear. And this time around, it is truer than ever. Those who ignore my warnings pay the highest price, and this time around, this will be more painfully obvious than ever. The first part of this message is for the people, and the second for governments. To the people, I have this to say. Get ready for a global population stabilization law with 3 components. Replacement level fertility, meaning 2 children per woman from now until the end of times, or until we become a multi-planetary species, if that will ever happen. Required assisted dying at age 75 until the burden of the old becomes bearable to the young, which will take until about 2050. And optimal population levels as defined by the overshoot index, which will take at least a century to accomplish worldwide. Replacement level fertility will save us from demographic collapse and will ensure the perpetuation of the species. Required assisted dying will save us from economic collapse and will ensure universal prosperity. And optimal population levels will save us from environmental collapse and will ensure the perpetuation of all life on Earth and the highest standard of living for all human beings. This law is inevitable and is coming faster than a bullet train. Why it is inevitable and how it will change our lives, because it will change them dramatically, I explain in the 2 documents linked in the text below this video. A 3rd document about the state of the G20 nations will soon join them. Study these texts as though your life depends on them, because it does. Implementing this law worldwide will not be easy, but there is no other choice. If you do not accept this population stabilization law and its 3 components, governments will be forced to continue to engineer crisis after crisis and man-made cataclysm after man-made cataclysm to accomplish these very goals behind the front of plausible deniability. And after a decade or 2 of unspeakable atrocities and suffering, you will all end up killing each other, and you will deserve nothing less. The age of ignorance and indifference is over. To governments and organized religions, I have this to say. Stop hiding, stop governing from the shadows, stop sterilizing and killing people, stop deceiving and indoctrinating the population, stop engineering crises and catastrophes. Open the floodgates to everything you are concealing about population control since the dawn of civilization, so that people can educate themselves and act accordingly. Provide full disclosure and enlighten the people on what it takes to keep civilization going, for only the truth will set us free. Unfetter the media to make this subject ubiquitous and permanent, so the public can climb the steep learning curve this subject requires to be fully understood. Otherwise, the transition from covert to overt methods of population control will not be peaceful. Last, initiate preparations for legislating a global population stabilization law and create the planetary well-being authority necessary to implement it worldwide. Do this in full transparency and with unwavering integrity. Never again will mankind's existential issues be addressed according to the lowest common denominator. Everyone must come out of the cave and face the glaring light of truth. Those who refuse will be buried along with their ignorance, and no one will shed a single tear. If you do not follow my directions to the letter, the entire global governing structure will fall and will never get up or be resurrected. The age of deception and atrocities is over. the age of civility and decency begins.